Hello, everybody, and good day, and welcome to another commentary special right here on the Transportation Hub YouTube channel. I'm your host with the most, Norman, and today, what we have in front of us today, right here, today, ladies and gentlemen, is that we are going to talk about the latest SBS bus route that is going to hit the streets of New York City, and this one will be in the borough of Manhattan, the M14A and M14D Select Bus Services. Okay, now the M14A and D, as you all know, M14A is 14th Street Crosstown via Avenue A, and M14D is also 14th Street crossbound via Avenue D. Okay, both of them serves the Lower East Side, with the M14A currently turncoding around Abington Square on 8th Avenue, and the M14D terminating around Chelsea Pierce 12th Avenue. Okay, so the original plan for the M14 Select Bus service was that back on January 6, 2019, which was this past January, before 3 days 3 days after Governor Cuomo canceled the shutdown, Governor Cuomo canceled the shutdown, so that pretty much canceled Jane Z service operating local between Broadway Junction and Marcy Avenue to help displaced riders in Williamsburg trying to get into Manhattan. Three various different SBS routes traveling via the Williamsburg Bridge with 80 buses per hour. And overall late night and weekend M train service to and from 96th Street Second Avenue. But M train service to and from 96th Street Second Avenue is still it starts on Friday evening and it ends on Saturday morning at 1:30 a.m. It starts early Saturday morning around 5:30 a.m. and it ends at 1:30 a.m. Sunday. Starts at 5:30 a.m. Sunday and ends at 1:30 a.m. Monday. That's the new plans to the L train shutdown. And, or should I say, L train slowdown, because the tunnel is not shut down at all. Service on the L train got slowed down. And this L train slowdown came into effect this past Friday, which was 1 week ago from 1 week ago from tomorrow. Okay, ladies and gentlemen? And another plan for the original L train plan shutdown is for the M14A and D to remain unchanged with extra local service for those two routes, and a new select bus service route will be laid on top of M14A and D, and that would have been the M14 select bus service, which would have operated between Stuyvesant Cove Ferry Terminal and 10th Avenue, 14th Street in Chelsea, had Governor Cuomo not canceled the full L train shutdown. Okay, 14th Street would have been dominated by buses galore. Okay, 14th Street would have been dominated by buses galore. And another thing about the original L train plan shutdown, as you all remembered, an L train ferry, a ferry supplemented for L train service, was supposed to operate between some pier in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and the Stuyvesant Ferry Cove pier every 8 minutes, and that ferry route would have been known as the L train ferry. So that was scrapped as well. Um, Bike lanes on 12th and 13th streets remain the same. No changes there. Oh, and we would have had an overall subway swap with full length cars for the CNG trains. That's still in effect though, because CBTC is still coming for those lines. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And I'm gonna stop talking now, and we're gonna move on to the next slide about the upcoming M14A and D SBS routes that is making its debut next month. And note this, that these are the last two crosstown bus routes from Michael J. Quill Bus Depot, last articulated bus route, crosstown route, if you might say, from Michael J. Quill Bus Depot to become a select bus service route. Because remember, we had the M34 M&A M34 and M34A that became an SBS route. We had the M23 that became an SBS route. We had the M79 that became an SBS route. We had the M86 that became an SBS route. Well, it became an SBS route when it was housed at the Tuskegee Airmen Depot, which was later that route was later transferred over to the Michael J. Quill Bus Depot back in January 2013 in exchange for the M31. And we got the LaGuardia Airport M60 SBS, which became an SBS route when it was housed at the now defunct 126th Street Bus Depot, which later moved on to which was later moved the M60 SBS route was later moved to the Michael J. Quill Bus Depot back on January 5th, 2015, or January 9th. I know it was January 2015. I know it was somewhere in early January, before the 10th. Yeah. Okay, guys, enough talking, and we're gonna get right down to business. Man, look at all these people cross again inside the bus. Hmm. Okay, here's the background of the M14A and D SBSes. The M14 was identified as a critical future SBS corridor in the past BRT studies as far as back as 2011. So they were already considering turning the M14 route into an SBS route way before Superstorm Sandy hit. Because remember, Superstorm Sandy hit, crippled the city back in October 2012. So this was 1 year before Hurricane Sandy brought destruction to our city. The M14A and D is the second busiest bus route in Manhattan with 27,000 daily riders and the second slowest bus route in New York City. The M14A and D connects to 18 subway lines and 16 other bus routes. Okay, so along 14th Street, the M14A and D collectively connects to the IRT 7th Avenue line, IRT Lexington Avenue line, BMT Broadway line, IND 6th Avenue line, and IND 8th Avenue line, as well as the BMT Caransie line, which runs parallel with these two bus routes along 14th Street. And also as M14A, I'm pretty sure it's M14A or D, one of them, connects with the F, J, M, and Z trains at the Lancet Street exit street. So that's the IND 6th Avenue line once again, and the BMT Nassau Street line. Right before you hit the Wilson Bridge heading into Brooklyn. Planning and implementation to date. Extensive public outreach helped to redefine 14th Street design in preparation for the full tunnel closure. Okay, you see this? You see this first bullet right there? Full tunnel closure. So all this was planned. It was implemented back in 2018, right before the new year when Governor Cuomo, from nowhere, canceled the entire L train plan shutdown. The MTA came up with alternatives to get that Caransie Tunnel repaired, and the whole five works. I'm gonna put the link to all the past commentaries that I did regarding about the Caransie Tunnel repair work in the cards section, which will be located on the upper left corner of your screen with the exclamation bullet point. All right. So this is not a closure anymore. This is not a shutdown anymore. This is an L train slowdown. L train service will operate every 20 minutes from end to end between Canarsie Rockaway Parkway and 8th Avenue in Manhattan. Every 20 minutes, weeknights from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. the following morning, and all day Saturday and Sundays. Okay? With every 10 with L trains operating every 10 minutes in Brooklyn between Canarsie Rockaway Parkway and Lorimer Street, where you can connect with the G train to Court Square to transfer to the 7 train into Manhattan. Now, also remember, ladies and gentlemen, during the L train shutdown, the 7 train service also got increased service during weeknights and weekends as well, like every 4 to 6 minutes, I believe. G trains every 6 to 8 minutes, every 6 to 8 minutes, and also you guys can connect with the AAC and J trains at Broadway Junction. You guys can also take the M train at Myrtle Wyckoff Avenues. That is all part of the L train project. And please remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys use the first and third avenue platforms along 14th Street during those hours that I just mentioned, where the slowdown will transpire will take place. All trains, whether it's going to 8th Avenue, 6th Avenue, Union Square, whatever, and especially going back into Brooklyn, all trains either going to what I just mentioned just now will board the Brooklyn bound platform. Okay, I repeat, all trains bidirectional, traveling bidirectional, will board on the Brooklyn bound platform at 1st and 3rd Avenues. 14th Street markings and SBS fare machines were partially installed in fall 2018. The 2018 design was intended for the original M14 SBS plan, what I just mentioned just now, route from 10th Avenue, Chelsea, to the Stuyvesant Cove Ferry with local bus service on the M14A and D branches, and also as well as the M14, as well as 3 temporarily select bus service routes that I just mentioned earlier. And all those new buses would have been used for the SBS service, and we will still hang on to those RTSs just a little while longer for another year or so. But since Governor Cuomo canceled the shutdown, all of the new buses, the new Fly XC40s, the LFSs, the LFS Arctics, all the new bus models are going to their assigned depot. And about the RTSs, I'm going to mention something about the RTSs later on at the end of this video, so you might want to stay tuned for that one. Moving towards full M14A and D, M14A and M14D SelectBus services. Bring SBS improvements much earlier than the original 2020 plan for full M14 SBS. Will serve the A and D branches on the Lower East Side, not just 14th Street. Okay, you guys, as remember, the M14, the original plan, before the huge change in tunnel repairs transpired, the M14 SBS would have been meant to serve the fort along 14th Street only, from the Stuyvesant Cove all the way to 10th Avenue in Chelsea, Manhattan, okay? And the A&D will just remain their local services. All right? But now, since Cuomo canceled the original L train tunnel shutdown and turned this L project, into an L train slowdown, M14A and M14D will now become full-blown SelectBus service routes, making select stops along the 14th Street Crosstown route and on the Lower East Side along Avenues A and D, respectively. Moving forward, public outreach, planning analysis, fare installation machines, and 14th Street markings. So this is the start from March to June. Public outreach has been going on for the past 2 months along 14th Street, and it will keep continuing along the A and D branches along Avenue A and Avenue D on the Lower East Side. Planning and analysis, same thing here. Also, same goes for the Avenue A and Avenue D branches. Fare installation machines will keep going on all the way to the end of this month. And on some date in June, the date to be announced, will be the full SBS launch for M14's A and D. The Department of Transportation and the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, known as the MTA, are committed to launching the M14A and M14D SBSes in spring 2019. Accelerated public process intended to deliver SBS improvements to L-train customers. 14th Street bus lanes could be implemented in time for the SBS launch. Bus priority on the Lower East Side branches will be investigated for later implementation. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you see that, okay? People who rely on the L train along 1st Avenue and between 1st Avenue and 8th Avenue, this could actually work. M14A and M14D, A and D SBSs, this should actually work. It should work. Alright? Now, I don't know if both of them are going to have 24-hour SBS services, but as far as I know for a fact, and this is for a fact, ladies and gentlemen, listen to me when I say this. One of them is going to have 24 hours full-blown SBS service, either the M14A or the M14D. I don't know which one, but one of them will have full-blown 24-hour service. Just like take the Woodhaven Crossbay SBS corridor for example. The Q52 SBS operates between Elmhurst right in front of the Queen Center Mall, all the way down to Arverne by the sea, Beach 54th Street. And that bus route operates all day between 5 a.m. in the morning and ends somewhere after 1 a.m. in the nighttime. While the Q53 SBS, on the other hand, operates 24 hours a day between the Woodside subway station, where you can connect with the Long Island Railroad and take the SBS Q70 to LaGuardia Airport, all the way down to Rockaway Park Beach 116th Street, where you can connect with the A train during peak rush hours and the Rockaway Park shuttle. Okay? That's how the 14th Street Crosstown routes, SBS routes, will be implemented. Since there's two of them, one of them will have full 24-hour service to get L train riders moving around all across 14th Street, and the other one will just simply have all day service from morning to late in the nighttime. SBS implements. Toolkit of SBS elements includes camera enforced bus lanes, offboard fare collection on the M14's A and D, longer stop spacing, bus boarding curb extensions, changes to parking and loading regulations, signal timing adjustments, real-time passenger information. SBS routes have provided travel time with a savings of 10 to 30% with 10% ridership gains. Oh yes, that is a fact right there. All SBS routes, with the exception of SBS S79 in Staten Island, all have off-board fare payments. And you know what? Something needs to be done about the SBS S79 because there's some hearsay going on through the grapevine that the SBS S79 is going to get the Nova LFS Arctics. It's written somewhere in the books. I don't know. So we might want to keep our eyes on that out for that one. And if they ever did dare to think about articulated bus conversion for SBS S79, how about off-board fare payments, just like the rest of the other SBS routes in the city? Think about that. M14A and D ridership. As you can see right here, ladies and gentlemen, Union, the area around Union Square connection with the 4, 5, 6, L, N, Q, R, and W trains have the biggest daily ridership, while while the area of Abington Square and somewhere around the Chelsea Piers area, as well as some spots on the Lower East Side routes, all have connection, all have lower ship ridership, low riderships along the route, okay? And back to my earlier question, the way how I see this, I would know for a fact that somehow the M14A is going to get 24-hour SBS service. It's going to provide 24 hours, 7 days a week SBS service. Here's why: because it connects to numerous lines along 14th Street, and it also connects to FJ and Z lines on the Lower East Side of Manhattan via Avenue A. While the M14D, on the other hand, will have all-day service. Okay, with connections to the M15 SelectBus service along First and Second Avenues. M14A and D performance. The peak PM rush with the average speed, M14A's average speed of 4.2 miles per hour and M14D's 4.6 miles per hour. M14 routes spend almost 60% of their trip at bus stops or stopped in traffic. Yes, I know that for a fact because I know back in back in fall of 2017 and early last year in February, I paid a visit along the 14th Street corridor, and those buses easily get stuck in traffic because all the numerous cars were there. You got trucks unloading items to stores, and that's what really hurts the performance of not just this bus, but all the other bus routes citywide. And something needs to be done with the entire MTA bus system, and it needs to get somehow revamped. I know for a fact that when I was up in Toronto last summer, those buses move quick, 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 quick. And those buses run every 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes. Those buses, they know how to work. And the bus drivers are so nice. They're so professional. They see you at the bus stop. They stop the bus for you. They lower the bus for you, and they let you in. But not certain bus drivers in certain routes in this city right here, in New York City. We need to do better, and we can learn a thing from the Toronto Transit Commission because they got mostly everything on check, and we can learn from them. Okay, for the M14A and D respectively, 40 over 40% in motion. Both of them spend 25% at the bus stop and both of them all has over 30% in delays in service. Change. Look at the M14 travel speeds. Look at this. Around the box corner near the FDR Drive, more than 6 miles per hour, as well as some segments along 14th Street. When the M14A travels along 14th Street and turns onto Avenue C, more than 6 miles per hour. And on the 14th Street overall itself, between Avenue A and Union Square. Oh my gosh. And further out onto 7th Avenue, less the bus travel speed during PM moves less than 4 miles per hour. As well as the vicinity of Chelsea Piers, less than 4 miles per hour. While everywhere else moves between 4 to 6 miles per hour. Okay. Here is the proposed stops for the M14A and M14D SelectBus services. Okay. So, so as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, right here, the M14A's current Abington Square turnaround layover will be discontinued. And a new M14A proposed turnaround about will be relocated at 10th Avenue. So at least it kept some variations of the original M14 SBS plan with the turnaround about at 10th Avenue. You see the M14D kept its Chelsea Piers 12th Avenue stop, still going around and around and around and around. Okay. Making stops at 8th Avenue, both of them together make stops at 8th Avenue, 7th Avenue, 6th Avenue, 5th Avenue heading westbound. The eastbound stop near 5th Avenue will be discontinued. Instead, you can use the nearby SBS stop near University Place around the vicinity of Union Square near 4th Avenue as well. 3rd Avenue got to stop, 2nd Avenue got to stop, 1st Avenue got to stop, 1st Avenue, Avenue A, that'll be for the M14, that'll be for the M14A and D. Avenue A and East 10th Street, M14A, East 6th Street, Houston Street, near the Delancey Street exit street stop, Lower East Side right here, near Grand Street, another stop, turn around, okay? So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, the stops dotted in green are all of the discontinued stops. They are the discontinued stops, ladies and gentlemen. The Union Square area bus stop, Union Square West westbound stop pending final street design. 5th Avenue and University Place eastbound stops relocated to a new stop west of the corner of 14th Street and University Place. So as you can see in the last slide, the eastbound stop on 14th Street near 5th Avenue will be discontinued, and you can use the nearby stop on 14th Street at University Place. 14th Street Vision Zero Corridor. One of de Blasio's failed experiments. Failure. The Vision Zero Corridor has been nothing but an abject failure, ladies and gentlemen. Every other week we hear some person got hit by a bike, some person on a bike got mowed down by some vehicle or whatever. Like sometimes I drive and I'm very cautious, and I'm very cautious to the people on the bikes because we all have to share the road, and I don't want to have no conflict with people on the bike because they have every right to be on the streets as well as us, as well as everyone else who drives cars has to be on the road. Like, it gets crazy. Okay, 14th Street is a Vision Zero priority with seven priority intersections with more than any other Manhattan street at 7th Avenue, 7th, 6th, and 5th Avenues, Union Square West at University Place, 3rd, 1st, and 3rd, 2nd, and 1st Avenues. 60.8 pedestrians killed or severely injured per mile. Like I said, Vision Zero, abject failure. Next. 14th Street designs. Key considerations. Busway markings have been installed. Busway parking regulations and traffic restrictions have not been installed. Service changes to street designs will require street resurfacing and installation of new markings. Markings cannot be installed until late April or early May at the earliest due to temperature restrictions. Look at this picture right here. You got the three now that are now retired new Flyer D60 HF Galaxies dominating 14th Street. There's one right there, one way over there, and one way over there over the horizon. Oh yes, the works. The 14th Street design, safety improvements. 2016 Department of Transportation left turn study. Pedestrians and bicyclists are killed or severely injured by left turning vehicles over 3 times the rate of right turning vehicles. New restrictions and existing restrictions. All right, as you can see, if you are to all my drivers out there who also use mass transit, listen up. You're gonna hear this. Proposed turn restrictions on 14th Street. Left turn from 14th Street to 8th Avenue. Left turn from 14th Street to 7th Avenue. Left turn from 6th Avenue from 14th Street to 6th Avenue. DOT will explore exceptions for buses as part of the SBS street design. Left turn from 14th Street to 5th Avenue. Left turn from 14th Street to University Place. Right turn from 14th Street to Broadway. Left turn from 4th Avenue to 14th Street. Left turn from 14th Street to 3rd Avenue. Other safety improvements to be explored on 14th Street: curb extensions, bus boarding spaces, A and D branches, curb extensions, bus boarding space, left turn traffic calming, and turn restrictions. 14th Street design options. Option 1, retain existing markings. Preliminary projected speed improvements 20 to 35% plus reliability benefits. Busway. Bus and local access only. Bus lane with regular traffic lane. Designed for 85,000 daily riders during full shutdown. Complicated traffic pattern that may divert traffic due to other crosstown streets. Pedestrian space was designed for pedestrian surges under original tunnel reconstruction plan. Retains parking and loading spaces for private vehicles on both sides of every residential block. Minimal bus lane markings required in 2019. Some elected advocates have called to retain busway. Traffic restrictions and parking changes would go into effect. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, option 1, retain existing markings. So as you can see right here, you got 7 inches, I'm sorry, not 7 inches, 7 feet of temporary pedestrian spacing with 8 feet of loading space as pick up and drop off. 11 spaces each of local bus access travel lanes and vice versa. Option 2, standard bus lanes, regular traffic lane, preliminary projected speed improvement, 12 to 20% plus reliability benefits. Provides extensive bus priority outside of tunnel construction zone. Could incorporate pedestrian safety improvements at intersections. Would remove parking, loading on some block faces. 14th Street design options. Option 2, bus lanes on a typical block, curbside bus lane, potential parking / loading at designated times. General traffic lane in each direction. Parking / loading could be on a north or south face block. SBS stop. Here's an example of 2 Manhattan Crosstown SBS routes. You got the M23 along 23rd Street and 6th Avenue, section 23rd Street and 6th Avenue. And you got this intersection right here on 34th Street and 6th Avenue as well. How protected bus lanes could work on 14th Street. Physical protection at the edge of a curbside bus lane. Okay? Significantly less likely that bus lanes would be blocked. Bus lanes will be in effect at all times. No overnight parking. Passenger pickups and deliveries would need to occur on the avenues. Access to garage or loading zones will be maintained via gaps in treatment. Potential issues for bus operations if lane were blocked. Treatment only feasible adjacent to curbside lanes. Would require balancing of residential and commercial curb access needs. Can be implemented with various materials and typologies. So as you can see in this picture right here on your left hand side, 23rd Street, bus lane protection approaching 6th Avenue. So as it would happen right here, as you're heading up, it says like uptown in Queens. So as you're like heading west on 23rd Street towards 6th Avenue, there'll be parked cars, but that parked cars will come straight along to the curb at the bus lane only. At the bus lane only, it will continue straight. That's how 14th Street will be like. Some segments along 14th Street will be just like that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our next steps moving forward. Ongoing public outreach. West Side L and M14 open houses held March 7th, done that. Lower East Side M14 open house on April 2nd, done that. East Side and M14 open house April 8th, done that. Community board in March, done that. May, done that. March, in March, done that. April, done that. And May. Let's continue right now. Construction of bus stops for SBS fare payment began March 13th. 14th Street detailed design, updated traffic analysis, final bus stop and routing plan, and curb regulation developments. And okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the commentary. If you guys like this commentary, please give a thumbs up, smash that like button, hit subscribe for more Translation Hub content, and let me know what you guys think about the upcoming M14A and M14D SelectBus service routes. Bless. This is Norm with the Translation Hub YouTube channel, signing off. I give you peace and salutations.